got next?
The Jags. This is an easy one. Jawaan Taylor.
Jawaan Taylor.
Yeah.
He from Florida.
Yes, sir. Tackle.
He's an SEC guy, and for me, I just think that he's at home. If the Giants select Jawaan Taylor, I would be shocked.
Yeah.
I saw that out of mock draft. I'm not really so excited about that. Protecting Nick Foles is a good start. They need wide receiver help too. But
it can wait.
It can wait. This is a deep wide receiver core. You got guys like DK, of course. He'll be gone by the time Jags get another pick, of course. But you got guys like
Debo.
You got
Debo Samuel.
Hakeem Butler isn't even really talked about much. N'Keal Harry's one of my favorite players out there, and he's not even projected to be in the first round. So it all depends. There's plenty of wide receivers. This is a very good wide receiver draft. A.J. Brown, another good one.
Yeah, he's still there.
You can even get tight ends. So, I just think protecting Nick Foles is job number one for the Jags.
You signed him for a few years. You might as well find a guy who can protect him for a few years. And
he's not Blake Bortles. He can't run as fast. And so I just think running away from pressure won't be good. And you just need to protect Nick Foles. You pay good money for him.
And they go up, Jawaan Taylor's gone up against solid competition his entire career. Mm-hmm. Highly athletic, moves well. I think he's primarily a pass blocker. Probably needs to work on his run blocking a little more. Yeah. But when you look at it, I think the Jags want to open up the ground game a bit with Fournette and then lob it. Yeah. I mean,
we'll see what Fournette can do. I don't know what Fournette's up to right now.
But I think Jawaan Taylor's a solid pick in the offseason. I would put his run blocking at a low B. Yeah. If he can get up anywhere to a low A or a high B, he's going to be he's going to be a frontline guy.
He's another safe pick.
He's going to be there for 10 years. I think he's a solid pick.
He's going to be another safe pick, just like Quinnen Williams. If he's Quinnen Williams and Jawaan Taylor, they're going to be solid.
So next is Detroit. We both have the same pick here. Devin White.
Devin White. There's not much to say about this. This is a pretty easy pick.
They need linebacker help.
They really need. They lost Ziggy Ansah. I think Devin White would be a good replacement. He can do a lot of things. He can move around, and he's another guy where the quarterback has to just. There's guys out in the NFL where you just have to scan for them. They got the LT Shivers. You got Khalil Mack, Von Miller, Joey Bosa's getting up there.
Bosa's getting up there.
You got to just look around. Aaron Donald. We got to know exactly where he is, and he's going to be one of those guys. So
yeah, and I think when we look at it, we each got our own positions a bit separately. We have our positions we prefer to scout. I'm really big into scouting the DBs and the linebackers, and Taylor likes the offense a lot, and we always like to come together and talk about it. Devin White is an interesting case of a guy who came to college to play running back and figured out that linebacker was a better spot for him. Mm-hmm. Good instincts. It probably helps playing linebacker. It makes him easier to read the hole, I think.
Yeah. Good predictions. Good linebacker.
Freak athlete. I mean, you saw his 40 time. His vertical and broad jump, they're up there too. He had a high enough 3-cone show that you're like, okay, he's at least semi-agile. Yeah. Sideline to sideline guy. Coverage, I think, is a bit of a struggle for him. Yeah. But I think I honestly think when you look at him and you plug him into Detroit, plays first season as a Mike linebacker, but I really feel like he's going to shine later in his career at the will. Yeah. Because I think when he's allowed to just
play off of instincts.
Just move, I think he's going to be great.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's going to be like a Thomas Davis.
Yeah, I see it really like a Thomas Davis.
Like if you get a decent linebacker next to him who might be able to play the Mike, he'll be able to just move around and be free, and that's who he is. At LSU, he just moved around and made plays, and that's who he is.
My one knock on him, if there is any, is that physicality.
Physicality is a little questionable.
I think if he just focuses on, there's times when he moves so quickly that he doesn't properly tackle, but I think if he learns to slow himself down, at least in the ending seconds, and get a strong tackle, or even finish stronger.
He's just a big body. It's going to be easy for him.
Throwing himself at people in a safe manner is what I think will help.
Yeah.
So
next.
We have Buffalo next. Now this is
Buffalo Bills.
We have a similar pick again.
Okay.
Jonah Williams, Alabama tackle.
All right.
With Taylor, with Jawaan Taylor, it's about potential versus current. It's about ceiling versus floor. Jawaan Taylor is the medium floor, really high ceiling.
Yeah.
Jonah Williams to me is super high floor, medium ceiling.
Yeah.
I think this is a guy who comes in day one, starts immediately, plays like he played all at the time at Alabama, allowed like insane like low amount of sacks from that position, moved all over the line in Alabama.
Yeah.
And I think that when Buffalo looks at it, now Buffalo can do a few things. I've seen them taking DK. I don't have them taking him then. I think what they need to do is they need to go, okay, we have our guy in Josh Allen. What we need is for Josh Allen to have time to throw that arm back.
Yeah.
And I think that's your guy. I think Jonah Williams is the obvious pick there.
All right. Yeah, Jonah Williams. Yeah, I think he just reminds me of Garrett Bowles a little bit, so I'm a little iffy on that. So who did I pick?
You picked Jonah Williams too, actually.
Jonah Williams. All right. Yeah. Well, the Bills. Yeah, they got Josh Allen, and I think they found their franchise quarterback. I think he's going to be good, and I think what they just need to do is sort of protect him, and he's that guy that will command an offensive line and at the helm. He reminds me too much of Garrett Bowles on the Denver Broncos, and I just don't know if he'll keep up with injuries. I don't know about his speed. I just think that I'll see a couple holding penalties here and there, so we'll see how that goes.
Okay, so next we have, I believe, Denver.
Denver. Ooh.
Yeah.
I'll have to speak on this one. Denver Broncos, please don't. But I got to go with the predictions. This is a mock draft. I got Denver selecting Drew Lock. They've been raving over him. And John Elway just loves those guys, quarterback that look like him. So I'm hoping they don't get him, but they don't pick him up. But I'm doing predictions, and I'm predicting that this will happen. Drew Lock met with Denver a couple days ago, and John Elway has been feeling himself with that pick. So my feeling about it is, he's a good talent. He played decent. He played in Missouri, so he's played against some decent talent. But I just don't think he'll be that accurate. I think he'll be able to make some plays here and there. He's got an arm, but you got to be able to control that arm. Not everyone can be Pat Mahomes and be really accurate, but have a really strong arm at the same time. So you never know with these guys. And with John Elway's luck, he's going to turn into the next Paxton Lynch and just be out of here. So
and the problem,
you never know.
The problem is that's the issue. Is that Elway's done this before.
Yeah,
Lynch was a problem. Now, thank God he controlled himself last year because you guys got Chubb. And Chubb,
he's really good picked up. I mean, they got Chubb. They didn't draft Phillip Lindsay, but they got Phillip Lindsay, so they got some rookies out there that performed well.
Yeah.
So
Drew Lock, that's who I have too. I think that with the acquisition of Joe Flacco, I can't seriously think that Elway signed Joe Flacco to play Joe Flacco as a starter.
No,
I think he brought him on as a mentor.
Yeah.
Because they're similar, and I guess in a few ways.
Yeah.
But I don't think anybody's really that high on Drew Lock. I mean, it's kind of like it's the quarterback issue.
There's only two good quarterbacks that can start day one. Drew Lock will not be able to start day one. Daniel Jones will not be able to start day one. Will Greer will not be able to start day one. So I just think that with Drew Lock, you can have all this hype about his arm talent and his, I don't know about his IQ or his film study, but we'll see how it goes.
We'll see.
Who we got next?
We have the Bengals here, and we have two different picks here.
Okay.
I have Devin Bush.
Devin Bush.
I believe, yeah, Devin Bush. So, of course, Devin White went earlier. I'm really high on Devin Bush. If Devin Bush was 2 inches taller, Devin Bush is a top 5 pick. And I'm serious about that because this is a guy who's 5'11", a good size, a good weight, ran a 40 time that can get as close to Devin White as you can. Okay?
Yeah.
And I think more than White, this is your Mike linebacker. This guy, I think White was a more quiet leader of a defense. Devin Bush was the loud, intimidating, heavily physical reliant linebacker. This guy came through the pocket every single time.
Yeah.
He's also a better pass rusher. I think he might be a better cover backer, but that's kind of I think they're almost even in a way.
Yeah,
definitely a better rusher though. Ahead of time, we'll be a little biased here. I'm a Steelers fan. He's a Broncos fan. If Bush doesn't go to the Bengals, the Steelers are going to get Bush.
Yeah,
because he's going to drop to 20. Because I think a lot of these teams don't need that backer, and I think as a Steelers fan, I could be hopeful that he drops because I really think we need him, but I'm playing it safe. I don't think he's going to drop. You have Rashawn Gary.
Rashawn Gary. He's the
two
other
Michigan
guy.
boys.
Michigan. For me, Rashawn Gary, Devin Bush and Rashawn Gary both have their injury issues, and I think they were both injured at the tail end of the season. But for me, Rashawn Gary, I just think that he's a better athlete. And I just think he made more plays when it counted. And I just think they're really, really close. Both of them will go in the first round really high. And I just think they're both coached by Jim Harbaugh, who defensive mind, NFL guy. So you can go either way with the Bengals, but they really need that linebacker spot. And Rashawn Gary, in my opinion, will fill that void very well. So I'm thinking they choose Rashawn Gary over Devin Bush. Yeah.
And the other thing about Gary is that in their scheme, he can probably play outside backer, but I think he'll really shine at defensive end.
Yeah, he can play both. Yeah,
I think he's kind of a lackluster. I think he's really good at rushing the passer and having some run support, but I think his game lacks other areas. Mm-hmm. I think he's a project pick. I think if you manage to work him into like your ideal mold for him, he's going to be a star. But if not, it's going to be.
I just think that they got Dunlap and Atkins there. I think they can.
He's a big boomer bust prospect.
Yeah, it's whatever .
So next is Green Bay. Same position. Same school, two different guys. You have T.J. Hawkinson. I have Noah Fant. Obviously, the two of them are stars in their own right.
Oh, yeah.
Iowa's become tight end university over the past few years.
Yes.
Hawkinson is the more complete of the two. Definitely 100% a better blocker, a decent pass catcher. My only reason for Green Bay taking Fant here is that when you look at Noah Fant, what I see is I see a more productive and a less controversial pick of an O.J. Howard type guy.
Yeah.
This is a 6'4" freak who has long arms, a monster 40 time, and reels in passes like a wide receiver.
Yeah.
He is a mismatch for every outside linebacker that you can get to cover him. Now, I understand that linebackers have recently become fast, but this is a guy who is fast, he is strong. I see him almost, he's built almost like Gronk, but maybe a bit more receiver based. He's going to struggle blocking. He needs to work on his blocking. But with Green Bay, they've used some two tight end sets before. I think that's where he's going to shine. I think when you're able to move him out, even into the slot, he's going to become a mismatch nightmare for these teams.
My only thing with Green Bay, they got Jimmy Graham, and he's sort of wearing down, but he's sort of what Noah Fant is. And I just think they need a guy. They need a change. They just like you said, if they use two tight end sets, they're trying to run the ball a little bit more. I'm thinking, and so they need a more balance. I just think T.J. Hawkinson, he's really complete, and he's made plays in the passing game before.
Yes.
His run blocking, and blocking in general can be very useful. And I think Aaron Rodgers will appreciate that. I think. Their new head coach would appreciate that. So you never know. They could choose either one. You can go either way. But I think they already have a Noah Fant type guy in Jimmy Graham. They need to figure out how to get a guy that can do both in a very productive manner. And that's T.J. Hawkinson.
I'll say this, though, real quick. Speaking on tight ends, especially from Iowa.
Yeah.
There is a big play that can happen here. If Green Bay, which I think Hawkinson is the safer pick, and I can see them going Hawkinson. I have them picking Fant because I see them as wanting Aaron Rodgers' next big weapon.
Yeah.
This is where I see the Patriots taking advantage of it. I think a lot of these teams, okay, so let's say Hawkinson goes at 13, I think it is. At 13, 11 or 12. Sorry.
Yeah, 12.
Then, I think the next tight end won't get taken until the 20s. Okay, the Patriots have some big draft stock. Now, recently Gronk retired, of course. Everyone, we all know that.
He's probably coming back later in the season. We're gonna see.
Could you imagine a situation where at 32, Belichick says, "Give him the 32, our second and a third." I know it's a hefty price, but it's not like they have to. It's not like they can't afford it, and they move up in the draft and take Fant.
I would see that.
That is, to me, that's terrifying because what you get is you get your Gronk back.
Basically.
And you get Tom Brady, who is the greatest quarterback of all time, throwing to a massive mismatch for these teams, especially in their division.
Yeah.
There's no outside backer in their division covering him.
I got Jamal Adams can cover him. Mosley might be able to cover him.
Okay, maybe, but you look at
That's good. That's a good pick.
If he runs the seam and he pulls both Mosley and Adams on a double team, and you run a crossing pattern with it,
it's more NFL.
I think
that might be scary.
What I think is honestly the most crazy part of that, though, is that Iowa has 2 tight ends who are going in the first round.
Yeah, and then George Kittle last year.
Kittle was the best tight end last year. It's
crazy.
I know we have our favorite universities for specific positions, but anybody saying Iowa isn't producing groundbreaking tight end level stuff, and I think
you're crazy.
I think as a tight end, if you're in high school and you're looking at it and you're like, where should I go for school? Why would you not go to Iowa? I know it's Iowa. It's not like it's the biggest program you can go to, but
hey, they've been to the Big Ten championships.
Alabama, they put out tight ends, but none of them succeed that much. Yeah. And I think Hawkinson or Fant's a safe pick here for Green Bay. Next is Miami. We have 2 different picks here again. You have them taking Ed Oliver. I have Brian Burns here.
Brian Burns.
You can start if you want to with this one.
Ed Oliver is another. He's a highly rated guy. I think he's sort of he was earlier, like this time last year. When he returned, he was projected to be the number 1 overall pick, in front of Nick Bosa. People forget. Ed Oliver's a guy from Houston who, he's huge, and he could be the next Aaron Donald. It's very possible. Same sort of body type and same huge defensive anchor inside. I just think Miami, they're not really focused. They're not going to get good quarterbacks. If Dwayne's available, that would be maybe a good pick. But I think they're looking in the tank for Tua is real, or tank for Trevor. Who knows? So I just think Ed Oliver might be a good pick, and just to hone in on the defensive line. So we'll see where they go.
I have taken Brian Burns here. I'm really big on Brian Burns.
What position does he play?
He's an outside backer.
But
he can play end, I think.
Okay.
He is not a draft him and get immediate return from him kind of guy.
Yeah, he's a project.
He is a project, but I think he is a Pro Bowl type project. I think he had 2 forced fumbles and 2 fumble recoveries in college. He had a lot of sacks. And, it's Florida State. They put up really good talent. Yeah. So I have Miami taking him. I think Miami's going to like him. We'll see how that goes.
Next.
Falcons are next. This is easy. Andre Dillard, offensive tackle. Now I'm going to just say here, they need line help with Ryan there.
They do.
Dillard is a big, nasty
from
tackle.
Washington State?
Washington State.
Yeah, Washington State, yeah.
So I think he's a strong pick there. We're not going to focus too much on it. I don't really think there's much to say.
It's just in a passing attack offense, and I think it fits Atlanta well.
Yeah. The Redskins are next. We have them taking DK.
They got draft problems.
Let us explain this, okay? I understand that he's a monster at the combine.
Yeah. This is what we talked about earlier about this one athlete where...
But this is a guy who can't run routes.
You can't.
I am sorry. If you watch any of his routes in college, they are ugly.
They really are. He doesn't really have the best footwork. He makes some spectacular catches, 50-50 balls, and gets some goals. He's really tough, and we saw him at the combine. Really outstanding athlete.
The problem he's going to have in college, or in the pros, is that he's not going to always have that outside ability.
Exactly.
you watch him run a slant route, and you just sit there like, why?
Yeah.
Like, the most you're going to get of him is a go, a post, and Lord knows, maybe a curl.
Yeah, maybe a curl. I just think, we make predictions here. I don't think he's the best wide receiver in this draft. I think if you're able to mold a guy, you want his athletic ability, but you got to have better footwork than what he's got now. I just think that, again, we make predictions on who they're going to take, and DK will be a weapon that Alex Smith or Case Keenum or whoever they're going to put a quarterback who's going to make a play. But I just think that this is going to be a bad pick. He's a good player. I just think that he has serious bust potential. Only going to be, I think he's a Dez Bryant-esque player, but he's already at that point where you can't put him anywhere else besides the X or the Y. He can't go slot. So you got to be able to move if you're going to be a really good receiver. I think an example is James Washington last year. Is that James Washington was huge and he played Oklahoma State. He played X and Y. But now he's playing Z for the Steelers. He's able to move. He's got good hands. He's got good footwork. And I just think that that's the prototypical what you need out of a wide receiver, especially in this day and age. Find open space. If a corner can read what you're going to do 5 steps before what you're going to do it, you got some trouble. And I think even running a post for him will be trouble.
Well, and the other thing about DK is that this is media fire.
Yeah, exactly.
The media saw his ridiculous, don't get us wrong, absolutely ridiculous 40 time, insane on the bench press. But what shocks me is that you have guys like N'Keal Harry who put up the same bench press numbers and only a semi-slower 40 time and is a sharper route runner.
Yeah.
And the problem is that you look at DK's 3-cone and his shuttle, and your first thought is, holy shit, it's slower than Tom Brady's.
That's crazy.
This is your guy running your routes where it's quick stops and quick shifts, and he can't. And you're running
you now. Can't separate.
Now put Tom Brady's turning radius at wide receiver, and that's DK.
That's crazy.
And you go against guys like Jalen Ramsey who are going to force you to the outside every single time and not let you get inside on your routes, and he's going to get frustrated.
Yeah.
The problem is Washington needs some sort of media boost, okay?
I do.
Washington, I hate to tell you guys this, no one wants to play for Washington. You really don't.
No.
Okay? Landon Collins, bless his soul, bless Sean Taylor, and
Josh Norman.
And I'm hoping that Landon Collins has a great season. I love him, but I think they have to pick DK here for both ticket sales and I guess in this regard, you do have to give their quarterback a weapon. Yeah. And I guess when you don't have any protection, you can just throw it up to a guy with a 40-inch vert who's 6'4" and hope that something happens.
Combine guy. So we'll see how that turns out. I'm hoping for the best for him, but
now we have Carolina. This isn't an easy pick. I think we both have Clelin Ferrell going here. That whole Clemson defensive line is a freak of nature.
Yeah, Clelin Ferrell is a guy we just gotta. He's from Clemson and. I just think he helps out that D-line of Carolina. I think that's one of
their biggest struggles, I feel.
They got a good front seven. It's just that they worked well as a unit, and I think they lost some guys. I just think, Clelin Ferrell's a guy. He's another best available type player left, and he's going to be high. He's going to be highly rated, so that's an easy one.
Yeah. So next is the Giants' second pick, because obviously the Browns.
All right.
I have them taking Byron Murphy here. Okay. You have them taking Christian Wilkins. Your pick's totally understandable. They need a big, nasty nose tackle to lay down. He is that guy, and he'll do that job well. I think they need secondary help. I think the Giants need a lot of help.
Giants need help everywhere.
I think Byron Murphy...
highly graded.
Highly graded, but honestly, he's a zone scheme guy.
Right.
Man, he's going to struggle a bit more. So I think the Giants take him because they need help on the outside, and with Jabril Peppers now coming in, they need somebody to move up with him. That's my guy. On an off note, this is an extremely weak safety class. I think all these safeties can only go in the second round, honestly. Yeah. I don't see any safety going in the first round.
I don't see any Jamal Adams here. I don't see any of those type players.
So that's the Giant. I mean, This could also be prime trade out material for the Giants, honestly. This could be a Giants-Patriots trade happening here.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. Next, the Vikings. I have them taking Cody Ford. You have them taking kind of a weird pick in Caleb McGarry. He's Washington tackle. Most people have him in the 3rd round. You have him in the 1st round.
For Washington, they just need to, they have weapons, and honestly, they're the most They had one of the most talented rosters, in the NFL last year. I just think that their offensive line struggled at times, and this is a dude where I don't think he's going to change much, but the Vikings really they're not really focused on the draft as much as. I mean, they really are for the future. They need future guys, and I think that so they don't have to pay them because they're going to lose some guys to free agency because they need to get paid. But some experts picked them in the 3rd round, some picked them in 2nd. I looked at them mock draft, and they picked them exactly where I picked them. So, there's just in my mind where this might be a good pick for them for Kirk Cousins. And honestly, that team was a disaster last year. Where they should have been back in the NFC Championship game. But, you never know. I think this is a bounce-back team next year, and they need some O-line help. And, we'll see where that goes.
Yeah, and that's Cody Ford for me, too. I have him really highly ranked as a good tackle. So that's offensive lines out. This is a really strong tackle class. I wouldn't say a strong guard class, but definitely a strong tackle class. Mm-hmm. The Titans are next. This is interesting. We have the tight end situation again just flipped. You have them taking Fant. I have them taking Hawkinson. I don't actually think it's going to happen for either of us. I think they're either going to take defense or they're going to trade out.
Who?
The Tennessee Titans.
Okay.
I think Mariota has enough weapons right now where a tight end isn't the necessity, but it's going to be the best player on the board available.
I think they got Corey Davis. Mm-hmm. They actually do have a tight end out there.
But I think this is where the Patriots are going to eye this, and they're going to be like, this is where we go.
Yeah.
So I would stay tuned on draft night to what the Titans do. You could go a few places. Next to the Steelers, we both have the same pick here, Greedy Williams. This is extremely hopeful. If Bush is not on the board, I think this is our guy. With big franchise teams, I think you have to draft based on attitude, and I think this is a guy who, despite the tackling concerns, despite the hitting concerns, this dude locks up everyone he goes against. And you look at eight interceptions in 2 seasons. His tackling is a focal point that can be worked on.
Yeah.
And you look at it and you're like, well, what's the big worry here? And I think he's the best corner in the draft. I think Byron Murphy will go before him, but I think this is a guy who becomes a Pro Bowler in the next few years. The Steelers drastically need linebacker and corner help. If Bush is gone, this is our guy, I think. There's rumors that the Steelers are looking to trade up to get Devin Bush, or even some massive blockbuster trade that gets us Devin White. I can't see the Devin White trade happening. I can see the Bush trade happening. So yeah, that's pretty much it there. Seattle's next. We both have them taking AJ Brown.
I think he's the number one.
I think he's better than DK Metcalf. Size, he's about 6'1". 40 times decent enough, but polished route runner.
I think he's really good route runner, and I think he's going to be able to. He played a lot of Y with DK on the outside, but I think they can make it available for him to work in the slot. And I think he's a good enough route runner, and he'll adjust. And they got a good. They keep Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Who knows what's happening with him?
So. Yeah, that's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
Baltimore's next. Both of us having taken N'Keal Harry. Something about N'Keal Harry, we both think he's actually both of our favorite receivers in the draft.
Yeah.
Second for me is Hakeem Butler, and we'll get into that later why I don't think he's in the first round. Mm-hmm. But I think he's a mismatch for almost every corner.
Yeah.
I think he has deceptive speed. He has the strongest hands in this draft by far.
Yeah.
And I think the nice thing about N'Keal Harry is I think he's a quiet guy who will come in.
He's humble.
Do his job, and get out. And I think, the DK Metcalf firestorm. AJ Brown's on Twitter.
Yeah.
He's just.
Fun fact: I played against N'Keal Harry in high school.
Yeah.
I know him. He unfollowed me on Instagram because I called him out on something, and he got really mad. So it's all right. I still got his number though. I'll hit him up, but. I'm just flexing. I know a guy in the NFL draft. He played for Chandler High School. But anyway, my opinion on N'Keal Harry, he got some stuff to work on. He knows it. He knows he's got to polish up his game a little bit. He needs to work on his separation and footwork, but his route running, he knows the routes, and it all starts with footwork, and he'll work on that. And I think that the Ravens need someone for Lamar Jackson, and who's not the most accurate thrower of the football, and I think N'Keal doesn't really need an accurate throw of the football. His catch radius is good, his electricity is good, his playmaking is good, and that's where we got him.
So 23, we have Houston. We both have him taking Chris Lindstrom, offensive lineman.
They need to go offensive lineman for sure, no matter what.
They got to protect Deshaun Watson. That's about it. That's an easy one.
They're stacked everywhere.
Raiders. So this is the Raiders' second pick. You have Devin Bush falling all the way to here.
I'm starting to question that now, but like, if he's gonna be available, you have to take him.
You're gonna take him. Yeah. I have them. Obviously, Bush went much earlier in my draft, so I have him taking Hollywood Brown here.
The Browns together.
I don't know how I feel about Hollywood Brown. Fast. And that's about it.
Yeah, he's injured. I think I don't know how he's doing with the injury status, but I just think he's a small guy. He can get laid out. I think he reminds me a little bit of Emmanuel Sanders, with the size and the speed and the. I just think that he'll blow by people for sure. I just think his catch radius is very, very large. He's not going to go up and get balls, and I just think that he needs a quarterback that knows how to make reads, and he needs a quarterback that will make an accurate pass so he can get in the open space. So I don't know if he's playing return or not, or specialist, but N'Keal Harry is also a return specialist, so that's another plus for him.
So we have the Eagles next. Both of us have him taking Josh Jacobs. Best running back in this draft.
Yeah, easily.
I think the Eagles, really, when you look at it, they need help running the ball.
They got Jordan Howard, but
that's gonna be all depending.
You need two backs,
It's gonna be interesting. I don't know. It's not really a running back heavy draft, so it's kind of difficult to say.
Eagles they're stacked everywhere. They need Jay Ajayi, who was injured last year, and so they just need to fill those voids.
Colts are next. We both have him taking Dexter Lawrence. Obviously, good news for Cowboys fans. DeMarcus Lawrence resigns. Massive deal. He is a special player on the edge. He's really helpful to them.
Is it Colts?
Yeah.
Okay.
They need to fill up the inside. And Dexter Lawrence, he played with Christian Wilkins, Cleveland Farrell, and Austin Bryant, I believe it is. He's a big gap guy. He'll fill that in. He'll do his job. He can play nose tackle. So I think that's a pretty easy pick.
And their defense wasn't even bad last year.
No.
So, and they didn't have star players. They only knew on that team. You only knew. I don't remember his name anymore.
So we have the Raiders.
Darius Leonard.
Yeah,
that's all they got.
So we have the Raiders' third pick here. And this one I have them taking. I have them taking Christian Wilkins. You have them taking Dexter. Or you have them taking Hollywood Brown. So you both have them taking Hollywood Brown at different times. The difference is Bush and Wilkins. Defensive help. That's about it.
I'm questioning that too. I don't know about Hollywood. I don't know how good that's going to be.
I don't think they're going to necessarily have all three picks by the end of the draft. I think they're going to trade something. So
yeah, I think
we'll stay there.
Plays.
Let's see. We have the Chargers now. Both of us haven't taken Jerry Tillery. He is the. Hang on a minute. I'm sorry.
Who do you play for?
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame.
He is defensive tackle.
Dude, he's a big boy.
Big boy. Nose tackle. Chargers already have a stacked defense.
Yeah.
Just get him something in the middle to clog some lanes. That's about it.
So their run defense could have been better. So
KC, I have him taking. You have him taking Byron Murphy here. I have them taking DeAndre Baker. Obviously, corner help is a big necessity.
And Byron Murphy, if he's available, I I'm starting to question my picks a little bit, but I think Byron Murphy's available. They just need a high touted corner who's he'll make plays for you. So both of them.
This is the hard one. I like DeAndre Baker, but I think his combine numbers, and I know we don't go off the combine, we don't try to rush it, but they scare me a bit.
Yeah.
He seems a bit slow, but I think what really is his saving grace is technique.
Yeah,
this is a guy who hasn't a lot of touchdowns since his sophomore year. So I think the Chiefs really need some help there. So we both have taken corner.
Hey, a combine shouldn't really help you, but I think if you do a bad combine, it'll hurt you. So
Green Bay now, second pick for them. We both haven't taken Riley Ridley, wide receiver from Georgia.
Yes, sir.
Underrated guy. Fits kind of their scheme. It's really simple. It's kind of easy there. Rams are up next. You haven't taken Garrett Bradbury.
I'm going to go back to Riley Ridley. He's going to replace, he's exactly like Randall Cobb. He's exactly like him.
Yeah.
So I just want to point that out. Who we got next?
You haven't taken Garrett Bradbury for the Rams. He's the center. They need help on that offensive line. I haven't taken.
It's getting old, so.
Yeah. I haven't taken Eric McCoy. Also a center. So two centers, just two different guys. Talent rating is superficial. So
yeah.
Pats are last. Both of us haven't taken Irv Smith, tight end Alabama.
Yeah. I think they like Irv Smith.
They
They really do.
But I think trading up to get the tight end they want here is Belichick's. You got to think. Look how dominant they were with a good tight end.
I just don't know. I just don't know. I think Irv Smith will be there. I know they like him, and I don't know. It's not Belichick's. It's not his style to go trade up to get a tight end like that. So
maybe not, but I think when you look at it, I think it's
not his MO.
Yeah, we'll see. So that concludes our mock. That's our first round. So interesting picks.
We'll talk about this for hours. We love talking about this stuff.
Yeah, this is the interesting stuff.
Yeah.
I think I would definitely say watch the entire draft. I think there's going to be a lot of trading.
Yeah, I think at least the first 3 rounds. I know that stuff gets boring a little bit, but I just think
there's some hidden talent.
There's some hidden talent there. And second and third rounds are, where you find your splashes. Russell Wilson's found a third round. Not everyone's going to be first round, and first rounders will start and get their money, but some of them are busts. We got plenty of times. So there's lots of guys taking a second and third round. It's definitely worth watching. I'll be watching.
Yep.
We go to Endgame that day on the 25th, Thursday. That's when the first round starts. So
yes, sir.
We'll be very excited to see what happens. What sort of trades are going to happen. Who knows? Kyler Murray might not go number 1. So
that would be interesting.
Josh Rosen does fit the mold for Cliff Kingsbury. He can do that air raid offense. So we never know. It's the NFL draft. That's what we like about it. All right. Well, I think that concludes our video. Almost an hour. That's a good time.
Yeah.
For our podcast. All right, signing off. The And One Show.
And one.
Peace out.